Well, bam! Hell yeah! Welcome, Bourbon Quest. It's your host, Bourbon Steve. So, oh yeah, what we got tonight? A little from the past to the future, or I think they call that Michael J. Fox's Back to the Future. Anyways, so we're gonna start off with, these are my two Staggs that I do not have open. I believe the one we're gonna cork pop this Stagg. This is Stagg Junior, and you can let me know, Bourbon Quest, if I'm. Hey Q, hey Q, say hi to Bourbon Quest. Hey, it's me. I'm Q. I'm the mascot here on Bourbon Quest. I like whiskey and catnip. There's your catnip. Hell yeah, Q. I'll give you a little sip of this Stagg. So, yeah, I believe, and like I said, you can let me know if I'm wrong on this, Bourbon Quest. The one we're gonna do, the fresh cork pop, is a Stagg Junior, and I believe it was the last of the Stagg Junior before they switched it to the Stagg. So let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure on that. It is obviously Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This comes in at 131.1 proof, barrel proof, unfiltered. Hell yeah. I'll let you get a look at. Oh, and can you see the Junior on there? This is I think the last of the Stagg Junior. I could be right or wrong on that, but who knows. But yeah, it says here, George T. Stagg was born in Kentucky, and on December 19th, 1835, Stagg built the most dominant American distillery of the 19th century on the banks of the Kentucky River during a time known as the Gilded Age of Bourbon. The distillery survived floods, fires, droughts, and even prohibition when it made whiskey for medicinal purposes. Today, Buffalo Trace Distillery strives to carry on the tradition of its famous forefather, uncut and unfiltered. This robust bourbon whiskey ages for nearly a decade and boasts the bold character that is reminiscent of the man himself. So it says aged for nearly a decade. There's no age statement on it, but I mean, I think this is about my fourth or fifth Stagg Junior. Let's get right to it. Yeah, it is a fresh cork pop. So, hell yeah. I always tell the story. Well, I'll tell it in just a minute. So, a buddy of mine, let's do it's a fresh cork pop, so we will do our 2-ounce infinity pour of Stagg Junior, the last of the Stagg Junior, as far as I know. There we go. Got that out of the way. All right, and then before I tell that story, so I'm not opening this one tonight, but this is the latest one that I got, and now it's just Stagg. We dropped the Junior, I guess, because it turned 18, although you still got to be 21 to drink it. But anyways, I'm pretty sure this is the first Stagg without the Junior. It comes in at just slightly under the one that we're going to taste tonight at 131 proof, whereas this one's 131.1 proof. Yeah, it's the same storyline on the back, so I'm not going to reread that. And we'll open this at some point, probably pretty soon, maybe. Well, I guess we probably got to get through the last of the Junior before we do that. And so, stay tuned, because more than likely the next episode I'm picking up a lottery bottle known as Russell's 13 year. I still have about a quarter of a bottle of the previous year, which was 2021, And then I just got an email. I'll probably pick it up tomorrow and do the video for the 2022 version of Russell's, and we'll see. I think this year or last year's version came in a little bit higher proof than the first year. Yeah, we'll do all things Russell. So we'll probably do both of those Russell 13-year-olds, maybe even a single barrel store pick along with it. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But let's get to this, the last of the Stagg, and that brings a question to my mind: is why did they drop the junior? I mean, was there anything significant about dropping the junior? I kind of liked it as Stagg Junior because it kind of gets confusing. Yeah, I mean, is it Stagg or is it George T. Stagg? Which I've never had. Hopefully, one day. But who knows? But hey, they do 2 releases of the Stagg, I guess you want to call it now, instead of Stagg Junior a year. I think this is my 5th and then my 6th that I've been able to get on my bourbon quest. So I've been very fortunate because I know they're not easy to get. I do, now that, what was it, a year ago? They, and I've seen like Bourbon Kingdom and some other channels do some reviews on some store picks of the Stagg. And I mean, I would love to get a store pick, but I mean, yeah, I would love to get one. Am I chasing it? No. I don't even know. Maybe they're only available in Kentucky. I'm not sure about that. But the one store pick that I cannot get my hands on that I want desperately, because it's one of my top 3, maybe top 2, is a Jack Daniel's store pick. And I mean, I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, 2.5 hours away from the distillery. Yeah, depending on how fast you drive. But and I'm in Knoxville, I'm in East Tennessee, and I have never seen any Jack Daniel's store picks, but yet I see them posted, whether it be in Texas, Ohio, Illinois. Why I can't get one? And even I'm a Tennessee Squire, for God's sakes, and I still can't get a store pick of Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. Would I like to get a Stagg store pick? Sure. I mean, if I came across one or saw one or was able to get one, I absolutely would. But I'm happy with just like, I think this is now my 6th George. The story I was going to tell. Well, let's get to the whiskey. Mother Lord. I mean, there's molasses, there's bacon, there's pepper, like black pepper, molasses, bacon, cherry, orange, vanilla, more orange. Damn, it's so. Cheers, Bourbon Quest. There's this beautiful combination of orange, cherry, vanilla, bacon spice, deep hug. That cherry and vanilla really come through on this one. I mean, these are so damn good. And I've gotten every one of my Stagg or Stagg Junior, whatever you want to call them, at like MSRP, which is, I want to say, right around $65. Best $65 ever. I mean, that's the thing. Granted, these are hard to get. I've been very fortunate to probably, I think this is now my 6th one. All of them are super and at $65? Are you freaking kidding me? Whereas anymore, it seems like new releases, special releases that are nowhere near this quality are $100 or more. I don't know. I mean, I think I saw a video the other day that was like, is rum the next bourbon? Maybe. And I don't drink a lot of rum. I do like rum. But, I mean, I've got a good buddy of mine, Eric Weber, that chases and hunts rum, specifically Foursquare, their special releases. And we'll probably do a video with Eric at some point in the not too decent far future. Does that even make sense? But I mean, I know bourbon is still growing. I mean, Buffalo Trace is trying to meet the demand as best they can. But I think the more time, I mean, I'm on my bourbon quest for what now, 3 years? And even with me being a whiskey tuber, it gets exhausting. And for your non-whiskey tuber or your average drinker, a shout out to that channel, Average Drinker, yeah, it becomes like, is this worth it anymore? And I mean, a lot of the stuff I do is because of the channel, and I do enjoy it, don't get me wrong. But if I were an average whiskey consumer, would I chase the LEs? Probably not. Would I stockpile, my 3 or 4 top bourbons like Four Roses Small Batch Select, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, which are, I mean, I know it's still allocated, but you can still find on Booker's. All of those are at $100 or less versus, don't get me wrong, like, I love me an old Carter for $200 to $250. I might drink some more of that later tonight. But, and I'm more of a traditional bourbon drinker. Like, I really don't get this big fascination with finished stuff. Like, I don't want my whiskey finished in port wine barrels. I mean, there's some exceptions, but that's been the latest big game is, finishing whiskey. Like, why don't you just make good damn whiskey instead of finishing it? So that's why, like this Stagg Junior is freaking great. $65, 130. What was it? 131.1? Yeah, 131.1 proof. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, there's that cherry, molasses, a little bit of peppercorn. Yeah, that's coming through. But no, the story I was going to tell was like, actually, it was the very first bottle, I think it was the very first alligator bottle that I got in my collection early on in my bourbon quest. A guy who used to work with, Jay, who was probably like 21, 22 at best, that I worked with at my restaurant. And I got him, of course I get like usually 4 or 5 people to sign up for these lotteries for me that don't care. We'll just go, I'll give them the money. If they win it, they'll go buy it. That's how I got a from Anastasia, a Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof, which is one of my top of all time. But no, so the very first allocated bottle I got was from my buddy Jay that I worked with at the time. Like I said, he's like 21, 22 at best. And I have him and a couple other guys come over, and I'm like, Jay, in honor of you winning this bottle for me, you get the first pour. So I pour in, I don't know, 1.5, yeah, probably 1.5 ounces. Hand him the Glencairn glass, and Jay, being a young newbie, like, that smells good. And then he's like, cheers. And then knocks the whole thing back. I'm like, damn it, Jay, that's like 135 proof. Like, you're supposed to sip that, not just shoot it. He goes, well, that's some pretty damn good shit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it is. You might want to take a seat before the seat takes you. But no, that's the thing I love about whiskey is the community, the sharing, the joy, and let me know where you're at, Bourbon Quest. Are you growing tired of the hunt, or do you still embrace it? I think there's probably a combination of both. I just would like to see where on the fence are you at. I mean, I'm still on the fence of, I still enjoy it. I really, really do. Or else I wouldn't be doing this. But, you know, there's times it becomes exhausting, disappointing. Like, why am I spending $200 for this when I can spend $65 for a much superior established bourbon? And I think that's what's going to be interesting in the next probably 2 to 3 years, as like the most sought out bottles, like from Buffalo Trace, for example, like the ones I'm doing today, become more readily available, and then the desire for the hunt becomes less. I mean, whiskey is on a boom, a huge boom, which no one would have predicted 20 years ago, and that's why they're playing catch up. But once they catch up, is that desire going to wane? I kind of tend to think that it probably will, which is going to create, I think, a unique equilibrium to where us, like myself and you, huge bourbon drinkers, will have things more coming available. But then it's like, yeah, maybe they're going to move on to rum or whatever. I mean, I'm always going to be a bourbon guy, always have, always will be. But you know, even for me, at times it becomes exhausting to chase and don't get me wrong, I love developing relationships. I have great. That's how I got these, was relationships with my local liquor stores. But yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 2 to 3 years, when I think demand or supply is going to start to meet demand, and demand may even drop off so it will surpass. And where do you go from there? That's going to be interesting to see, because obviously in the early 90s or something, I mean, whiskey was almost dead. And then, they persevered, survived, and then since 2014 or 2015, it's just been on an extraordinary boom. The prices, outside of your top, I mean, you can still get great values out of your top 6, big boy distilleries. Outside of that, I mean, if you're less than 20 years old, you're producing and charging 80 to 120, when the 6 big boys can produce great stuff for under 50. I think that's going to continue to be a hard road to hoe. We'll see. Alright, we got to wrap this up. I've probably gone too long, but this shit's amazing. It might be the last Stagg Junior ever. We're going to have another swig. Alright, let me know what you think, Bourbon Quest. Hey, if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and subscribe and then smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button, that way you don't miss a damn thing. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, subscribe, like, notifications, that way you don't miss a damn thing here on Bourbon Quest. Leave a comment. What do you think on Stagg versus Stagg Junior? And where do you think the whiskey community is going? I'm interested in your thoughts. Cheers, Bourbon Quest. This is delicious. Hope you enjoy it as well. Oh, now I'm getting butterscotch, pecan, almond, cherry, orange, vanilla. Oh my god, that's delicious. Alright, I might go grab a bite to eat, but before I sign off, just remember, as always, that my wish for you is that all your Bourbon Quest dreams come true. Hallelujah! That's a wrap, y'all. I'm glad I did some Stagg tonight. Damn, that's so good.